Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Asiya, one of the women who the Prophet ﷺ identified as a perfect woman. Not only that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has honored this lady by telling believers, both male and female, take this woman as a role model. وَضَرَبَ اللَّهُ مَثَلًا لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا امْرَأَةَ فِرْعَوْنَ. Allah has given us the example for the believers, for men and women, the example of the wife of the Pharaoh. This is a woman who was married to the most vicious and tyrannical criminal in human history. This man, Fir'aun, it's said that he killed 5,000, imagine that, 5,000 children in 1 year. Musa ﷺ was born in that year. And the story goes, once the box which Musa ﷺ was put in by his mother was untied, he lands on the shore of the castle of Fir'aun. Who finds him? This noble lady. And she convinces her husband, imagine this criminal, this tyrant, who claimed he was God, who oppressed an entire ethnicity, the children of Israel, for decades, who arrogantly and stubbornly ignored the many miracles that Musa ﷺ presented to him. Nonetheless, despite all of this, Asiya convinced him to let Musa live, to spare Musa. Not only that, to allow this child in his home. And I'm pretty sure Fir'aun knew that this boy is from the children of Israel. In the year he was supposed to be executed. Yet despite that, this is just phenomenal. She was able to convince him. The question is, how? And so in today's session, we're going to look at three ways women can better get their message to their husband, better communicate to their husband. The first is clarity. The wife of Fir'aun, Asiya radiallahu ta'ala anha, she was clear when she spoke to her husband. It was clear what she wanted. What did she say? وَقَالَتِ امْرَأَةُ فِرْعَوْنَ قُرَّةُ عَيْنٍ لِي وَلَكَ. This let him be an apple of our eyes, the apple of my eye and the apple of your eyes. عَسَى لَا تَقْتُلُوهُ عَسَى يَنْفَعَنَا. Perhaps he will bring us some benefit, he will bring us some good. It's convenient to have a young child who can help us with the home, help the mother around the house. She's clear in what she wanted. And she communicated that to Fir'aun. I let this child live. Let him be a source of emotional nourishment as well as benefit, whatever we can find that comes from this child. He agreed to that. And so women, when you want something from your husband, you have a request, you want to communicate a message to him, he's lagging or slacking off in terms of responsibilities, use language that is clear. And the question is, what is the clearest language to men? The language of numbers and appointments. This is what most quickly reaches the mind of a man. Instead of saying, for example, the husband is slacking off when it comes to fixing something in the house. Instead of saying you need to fix it, this needs to be fixed, this needs to be fixed. He's not listening to that. Use the following language. Look, if this isn't fixed in the next few weeks, I looked online, I researched, and I found that, this problem can lead to this, which will cost X amount of money. Once he starts hearing numbers, once he starts hearing appointments, a time and a time frame, it sets in the mind quicker. Now, it doesn't guarantee he's going to listen, but at least what it does is it sinks in his mind, and now it's on his mind. This is the best way to communicate with men. Use numbers, use appointments. This needs to be paid off by the end of the month, or they're going to charge us a $100 fee for being late. It reaches their mind quicker. The second thing that Asiya radiallahu ta'ala anha is teaching us and how she communicated with her husband is she came to an agreement with him. She agreed with him on something. She didn't come and just say that, mashallah, a child so beautiful, and just started describing the child and that's it. She came to an agreement. What was that agreement? Again, as I mentioned just now, to let this child play a certain role. Let's agree upon this. And so for women, Come to an agreement with your husband. One of the most common complaints I hear from men, my wife constantly calls me and asks me where I am. I'm at work, where are you? I'm going out with my friends, where are you? When are you coming back? Just keep calling and calling and calling. And for some men, it's driving them to insanity. A man can get dozens of calls in one workday. But you know where I am, I'm working. Do I need to open the phone and show you? And some women actually ask that. See, it's not that the man despises the fact that his husband is calling him, but rather that there's no agreement here. He's bothered by it. For some men, they don't mind. Call me as much as you want. How are you? Okay, I'm at work. I'll be here home at whatever time. But for some men, they just simply can't stand it. You have a husband who's bothered every time you call them. Well, sit them down and say, look, I understand that you're bothered when I call you. Is there a particular time where it's okay for me to call you? For example, you're out with your friends. Is it okay for me to call you? Or do you prefer a text message? Let's say I need to send you to the grocery store to pick up something, milk, eggs, whatever it is. Do you prefer a call or do you prefer a text message? Or maybe WhatsApp? Come to an agreement. And what you will find is that when there is an agreement and you call him, he won't be bothered. So come to an agreement with your husband. Stop. Sit him down and say, let's agree upon this. What you find is that many women, they're complaining about their husband. He does this, he does that, he doesn't listen to me. And then when the question is posed, well, did you tell him these things? No. Did you try and talk to him about these things? No. Does he know that you're bothered by these things? No. You have to sit down and come to an agreement. Through agreements, things are resolved and progress is made. The third thing that Asiyah radiallahu ta'ala anha is teaching us is she didn't get into a battle with her husband. Notice, when she said, let us take him in, she said what? قُرَّةُ عَيْنٍ لِي وَلَكَ. Let him be a source of good for me and you. She didn't say, I want him. She didn't say, he's mine. And no matter what you say, I'm going to keep. No, I won't listen to you. That's not the way, that's not the path she took. She communicated what she wanted through the we. She didn't enter into a battle with him. Look, it is part of human nature that when our possessions, our rights, our authority is challenged, we react. And we react in a competitive manner. We're not looking to agree with this person. We're looking to compete and shut this person out. They are becoming a threat to me and what I love. And so what we find is that some women, they enter into battles with their husband. No, I must win this argument. I must win this topic. I must get my way. That's just going to create problems. Don't enter into a battle. Rather, be clear and come to an agreement. And sometimes that agreement requires compromise. That's the world. Allah didn't create this world to be perfect and everything is at our disposal. Rather, this world is finite, it's limited in what it can offer. There's always complexities, there's always complications. Whatever you get, there's always a bad side to it. There's always a loss. When you buy something, you lose money. When you don't buy something, you have your money, but you don't have that thing. That's the way the world works. And no family becomes stable until husband and wife and parents and children learn to compromise, to come to the best resolution, the best model. And so this is what Asiyah radiallahu ta'ala anha is teaching us, 3 very important ways a woman can communicate to her husband, and when she becomes good at it, she can convince even the most vicious and most stubborn man, someone like Fir'aun. We ask Allah for tawfiq. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.